So these Germaine Pratt trade ideas have gotten a little insane, but I kind of love it at the same time. So let's talk about them. So obviously yesterday we covered the story that Germaine Pratt has requested a trade from the Bengals. He only really wanted to be a Bengal as of a year ago because of Lou Anarumo. And he wanted to play under Lou more time. Well, now that Lou is gone, really isn't any reason why he would want to stick around, right? Because if you only want to play because the defense coordinator, now the defense coordinator is gone, there's no real reason to want to be a Bengal anymore. So he requested a trade. Right now, the speculation is he wants to be traded to the Colts, which would make logical sense as the Colts are the team that now has Lou Anarumo as defense coordinator. So, social media, as always, Twitter especially, has been blowing up about this, has blown up about the ideas of who would we trade him for? Who would we give him up for? Reality-wise, we're probably at best going to get like a 4th or a 5th round pick for him. But because Duke Tobin loves his draft picks, so he'll probably just try to stack up his draft picks as much as possible. But then we kind of got some ideas. Let's talk about it. So there's 2 players that we want to trade for when it comes to the Indianapolis Colts. And obviously Lou wanting to most likely have his boy Germaine Pratt back, it's probably going to, realistically speaking, try to encourage this trade to happen. DeForest Buckner is number 1, who we want. And number 2 is Quentin Nelson. Now, Quentin Nelson is the priority. I would say DeForest Buckner is, but he actually is not. Quentin Nelson is priority. Can you imagine having Quentin Nelson at left guard? Bruh. Move Teddy K to right guard. Cut Kappa, right? Get rid of Kappa. Then you have right guard Teddy K. Put Matt Lee at center. Left guard Quentin Nelson. Orlando Brown. Amarius Mims, another year. He gets better. Whew. That offensive line would be beautiful. Plus, get Kevin Zeitler in free agency, right? You know what? Honestly, you could keep Teddy K at center. Get Kevin Zeitler in free agency. Make this trade for Quentin Nelson. Keep Teddy K at center, whatever, and then rock with that. Or, if they won't trade him, get DeForest Buckner on the defensive line, pair him up with BJ Hill and Chris Jenkins, and now the interior of your defensive line is freaking amazing. You're going to cut Sheldon Rankins. You're going to save money there. Like, again, ideas. Now, sadly, we don't live in a perfect world where everything is the happiest, sunset and rainbows. So because of that, we're going to have to give up capital in order for it to make this trade happen. I know it's crazy to say this, but the Colts are not going to just give us Quentin Nelson for Germaine Pratt. That just won't happen in a billion gazillion years. They're going to want either players in return or capital in return to try to figure it out. This is where we're going to need Duke Tobin to be a real GM and make this thing happen, right? Because at the end of the day, I know he loves his draft picks. I know his draft picks are absolutely like gold in a Nicolas Cage movie. But you got to figure something out, Duke. And I know you don't like giving up your draft picks. Maybe give up honestly, for either guy, Bucker, DeForest Bucker, or getting someone like Quentin Nelson, you're going to have to give up a 1st round pick. You're going to have to give up Germaine Pratt, probably plus a 1st round pick, at least in order to get either guy, which you give up probably a 1st round pick, not this year, maybe not next year, but 2027. Or you could give up another player and then also put in there like maybe a 3rd or 4th round pick. At the very least, you're going to have to give up some big amounts. So here's what I would say, right? We will give you, let's start with Quentin Nelson trade. Quentin Nelson will give you Germaine Pratt. Okay? You're going to love him. He's great. He's fantastic. Jermaine Burton. Just don't look at last year. You know what? Actually, stay off TV completely. Stay off the social medias. Rot your brain. Okay? We give you Jermaine Burton. Just look what he did at Alabama. Don't look at how he was at Alabama, like personally wise. Just look at his play. Don't look at him as a person. We'll give you Jermaine Burton. We'll give you Germaine Pratt. That's 2 Germaines. That's like, that's like times 2 trade value. We'll give you a 2nd round pick. And we'll give you a I'm not going to go there. We'll give you a disciplinarian for Germaine Pratt. That's what I'll say. Anyway, for Quentin Nelson, come on. Now, when I run now, I don't even know who we trade. Look at our roster. We're not going to trade a receiver. We're not going to trade a tight end. We could trade you Zach Moss. You guys used to have Zach Moss. We'll trade Zach Moss back. Although they really do like Trey Sermon. But we'll give you Zach Moss. We'll give you Jermaine Burton and Germaine Pratt and a 3rd round pick for Quentin Nelson. I think that's arguably not the best trade, but hopefully Lou Anarumo can get in the ear of the Colts ownership and try to make that trade happen. Same trade goes for DeForest Buckner. I don't think that would happen, but that's an idea. I think Jermaine Burton could definitely be put in that trade conversation. Outside of that, hey, listen, we could trade you Sheldon Rankins. I don't think you want him, but hey, if you want Sheldon Rankins, either of those trades could have added him as well. Sam Hubbard, we could trade you to him as well. Yeah, that's kind of where we're at when it comes to what we can trade. There's not much more we can trade, in all honesty. We just gonna have to re-sign players and figure out all crap. But hey, you want it? There you go. Now the problem is, again, Duke Tobin's never ever gonna trade his precious draft picks because he loves his draft picks more than anything. Like a father loves his son, Duke loves his draft picks. So it's just not gonna happen. But hey, listen, always a possibility. Always a possibility. See you guys next.